Hello, everyone, and welcome to Module 12, Nutrition. For this module, there are lots of handouts, so get those handouts ready. Our objectives today are to explain the Choose My Plate guide to healthy eating, identify positive and negative food safety practices, shop and prepare healthy meals for patients, discuss the importance of hydration, explain how to avoid dehydration in patients. Good nutrition is vital to the overall health of the individual. The aid is vital in assisting the individual to shop, prepare, and assist with meals. This module will explore the essentials of good nutrition and the responsibility of the aid in proper nutrition and hydration of the home care patient. In order for the human body to continue to grow normal cells, maintain normal functioning cells of all systems, and have energy for activities, a well-balanced diet is needed. However, it is important to remember that every patient is different. Each patient is different and cannot be compared to other patients of the same age or condition. The nutritional status is based on the patient's body composition, functional status, and the presence of illness or disease. It is important for the aide to recognize that there could be physiological and/or psychological factors which may affect a patient's nutritional practices. Physiological: decreased saliva production, loose dentures, gum disease, or other dental problems. Prolonged digestion, an increase in indigestion, constipation, decreased appetite, decreased taste, difficulty swallowing, decreased smell. What about psychological? Depression, a loss of interest in eating, no longer receives joy in eating or from food, forgetfulness. My Plate is a reminder to help consumers make healthier food choices. My Plate is a symbol with the intent to prompt consumers to think about building a healthy plate at mealtimes. The My Plate symbol emphasizes the vegetable, fruit, grains, protein, and dairy fruit groups. So if you take a look at that, you can see how that visualization helps you think about a well-balanced meal. There's also a link to the My Plate, so continue to reference that and look at that for any updates that may be coming down the pike. Supervisors, review the My Plate handouts with the students. Review and discuss the importance of a healthy meal preparation. We know that nutrition really is essential and vital, and one of the most important things that we can do to make sure that someone has overall good health. So hit the pause button and review the My Plate handout. Welcome back. From the different food categories, the goal is to receive a daily supply of 6 basic nutrients: protein, carbohydrates, fats, vitamins, minerals, and water, which is to be discussed later in the hydration section of this module. Protein is essential for tissue growth and repair. It is important for patients with skin breakdown to have a lot of protein in their diets. Protein helps to form antibodies that defend the body against disease. Protein also serves as another form of energy for the body. Good sources of protein include fish, poultry, meat, eggs, milk, cheese, nuts, and dried beans. Carbohydrates supply the body with fuel to meet the body's energy needs. Carbohydrates also provide fiber, which aids in digestion. Carbohydrates are broken down into 2 categories: complex carbs and simple carbs. During digestion, carbohydrates are broken down into sugars, which are then absorbed into the blood. Fats help the body to store energy, It also helps to provide the body with insulation and helps to protect the organs. Fat also helps the body to maintain a healthy nervous system. Examples of fat are animal fats found in meat, butter, oil, etc. And those are just a few of the examples. What about vitamins? Vitamins cannot be produced by the body and can only be obtained in food. Important vitamins to get each day are vitamin A, C, B2, B3, D, and thiamine. Minerals assist with various chemical reactions in the body. Examples of minerals include iron, sodium, potassium, calcium, and phosphorus. Oftentimes, patients will be suggested, or it may be a doctor recommendation, to follow a special diet. A special diet might be recommended for several reasons: a nutritional deficiency, post-op care, disease management, weight control, or to decrease certain substances in the diet that may be harmful to a patient's health. So you may hear someone refer to a special diet, or someone may have dietary restrictions. That is what they are prohibited from eating. So now we are to handout number 1, special diets. So take a few minutes, look at those special diets, discuss those with your supervisor, and then come back when you're ready to move to the next slide. Welcome back. It's important to read all of the labels on food packaging before purchasing. Labels often have information regarding expiration, use by dates of the product, proper handling, cooking, and nutritional information. Food allergy information will be printed on the package for those who have food allergies. When assisting patients with the food selection, try to help them make healthy choices. Specifically, look closely at saturated fat content, sodium content, and expiration dates. Distribute the nutrition facts label and overview and discuss this with the class. So take a few minutes, review that, and then come back when you're ready to move forward. So now you have another handout. I told you we had lots of handouts, which is great for you to go back and reference them as you need to. So we're going to talk about high sodium foods. This handout is given to students to show the wide variety of foods that contain large amounts of sodium. Many home care patients will have sodium restrictions, therefore the list would be helpful to serve as a reminder. Um, Especially if you have a patient that has something called congestive heart failure or they have heart disease, it is really important for them to maintain a low sodium intake. So let's talk a little bit about making good food choices. That doesn't stop at buying healthy food. Safe handling and preparing food is just as important. Here's some more examples. Always wash fruits and vegetables before consuming. Even if the food has a peel on it, you will be handling the peeling and could therefore transmit potential pathogens onto the food under the peel. Wash the outside peeling before you begin to prepare that food. Keep surfaces in the kitchen clean. Wash your hands. Clean lids of canned goods before opening. You never know what has crawled across the lids of those canned goods. Separate raw foods from other foods. Cross-contamination could occur. Use separate cutting boards and/or utensils when cooking with meat and other foods. Always cook food thoroughly. Don't trust your eyes. You can't tell what the inside of your food looks like. Use a food thermometer when possible to measure internal temperature. Always label any packages that you may open but not use in its entirety so that others can see what date the food was opened. Always be mindful of expiration dates. You may want to help your patient check foods on a regular basis to make sure that the food is not expired. Consuming expired food can be very dangerous. Take a look at handout 3, food temperature for proper cooking temperatures. Refrigerate food properly, preferably within an hour. See handout 4, cold storage chart for guidelines on storing food in the refrigerator versus the freezer. When preparing meals for a patient, the aide must be aware of potential dietary restrictions, food allergies, and of course, patient preferences. If there is a special diet recommended, the nurse will inform the aide of those restrictions. It is not the role of the aide to suggest dietary changes or limitations to the patient. Of particular importance to consider are the patient's religion, culture, and/or religious food preferences or restrictions. The place or culture we grew up in influences the kinds of foods we like to eat. Certain religious practices influence diet. For example, some Jewish people will need to eat kosher foods. Ethnic and religious groups often have certain foods that are common to them and may be eaten at certain times of the year. Always ask your patient about preferences and please be respectful of food choices based on these factors. As the aide, you may be expected to assist the patient with his or her nutritional needs. While it is ultimately the role of the nurse or the supervisor to determine what recommendations to follow, the aide can support to the patient in other ways. For example, offer small, frequent meals. If the patient will not eat a lot, offer foods that are high calorie, high protein, and nutrient dense. That means it contains a lot of nutrients. Food should be pleasurable to look at and to eat. Offer fluids throughout the day. Leave fluids within reach of the patient unless they have a fluid restriction. Always check with your supervisor to make sure that your patient does not have any dietary or fluid restrictions. If a patient is nauseated, colder foods may be tolerated easier than hot. If your patient has had a stroke, it may be difficult for them to swallow liquids. You may have to thicken their liquids before consumption. You will need special instruction from your supervisor as to the amount of thickener needed. There are various degrees of thickener. This is something that is decided upon by a speech therapist, usually at the time that they are in the hospital and that they see a speech therapist after the stroke to evaluate their swallowing and their swallowing studies. Always consider your patient's quality of life regarding food choices. Offer more choices and try to appeal to your patient's taste. If your patient has diabetes, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, etc., don't overreact if they cheat on their diet. They have the right to make occasional poor choices. Actually, they have the right to make poor choices all the time. Don't ever preach to them. Don't use guilt to try to control your patients. This brings us to activity 1, food safety. Please take a minute, pause this session, review this activity, discuss it with your supervisor, and when you're ready to come back, please resume. Welcome back. If you shop for your patient, buy a variety of foods that are nutrient rich. Avoid canned foods that are high in sodium, such as clam chowder. Your grocery list should include fruits, vegetables, grains, milk and milk products, meat, poultry, fish, eggs, dry beans, and nuts. Your patient may also have fats, oils, and sweets in moderation. There may be times when you are assigned to care for a patient who has an inadequate food supply. In this case, talk to your supervisor. There are many community resources which may be able to assist, such as Meals on Wheels or local food pantries. It is important that you know your agency's policy for handling cash, money, credit cards, or debit cards. This brings us to another handout, Becoming a Better Shopper. Take a few minutes, pause the video, review the handout, discuss it with your supervisor, your educator, your preceptor, and when you're ready to return, please do so. I told you that we were going to come back to the topic of water, and here we are. Water is the most essential nutrient for life. Water aids in digestion and absorption of food as well as helping to eliminate waste. Water also helps us maintain normal body temperature. Minimum daily requirements for water vary with age. However, most adults need 6 to 8 glasses of water per day. Infants and young children need more water than adults do. Maintaining fluid balance is essential for good health. A lot of home care patients will be at risk of dehydration. Infants and young children are not able to tolerate fluid loss as well as an adult, which could lead to death. Older people drink less because they are less thirsty, and their receptors that monitor fluid intake are less responsive than they were when they were younger. Older people or the disabled tend to drink less because of the fear of incontinence. It is important that the aide monitor for adequate fluid intake. Dehydration can lead to constipation, dry skin, dizziness, and weakness. It can become a serious medical condition and would warrant medical care. Please take a few minutes to review handout number 6, dehydration. After your review, come back and we'll proceed towards the end of the module. Welcome back and congratulations. You have completed your nutrition module. The importance of nutrition, health, and hydration cannot be stressed enough. And while it's important to encourage our patients to eat healthy, well-balanced meals, we must also follow our own advice and do the same if we are to live up to our fullest potential each and every day. Thank you for your participation.